obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
Lie. No man is obsolete.
It's a cookbook.
Who are we?
When will they take the bandages off?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
This lemon sucker here. He's the most suspicious of the bunch.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
I believe you're going my way.
Live from Willoughby at the heart of the Twilight Zone. Here are your hosts, Alex and Tyler, the prestigiously perfect podcast in which we call The Twilight Zone.
What is up, Gnomies? I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome Podcast, episode 49. Can you believe it, Tyler?
I can't believe it. Time is flying, man.
Pretty
Think about
crazy.
it. We are just a few weeks away from being 1/3 of the way through. A
Doing this
third,
for a
which is
year.
yeah, exactly 1 year. Crazy.
Pretty impressive. This episode, this week, what are we going to be discussing, Ty?
This week we will be discussing the episode "A Game of Pool."
Season 3, Episode 5, original air date, October 13th, 1961. This was written by George Clayton Johnson and directed by Buzz Kulik, who did 9 Twilight Zone episodes. And you best believe I'm about to go over which 9 he did.
All right, let's hear him.
King 9 Will Not Return, The Trouble with Templeton, Static, 100 Yards Over the Rim, The Mind and the Matter, A Game of Pool, A Quality of Mercy, Jezebel, and On Thursday We Leave for Home.
Wow, one of my favorites, followed by a lot of
Thursday We Leave for Home's good. Game of Pool is good.
I wasn't a huge fan of Game of Pool, and Thursday We Leave for Home was good. It just wasn't like, oh my god, mind-blowingly awesome.
All right, we'll jump right into it, Ty. What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment is when Fat says, "I'm sorry, I was required to say that." It's cool. It's like a little bit ominous, like, "Ooh, I wonder what he means by saying that." I just thought that was cool.
My favorite moment was, it's always stuck out in my head. It's the, James Brown, Fats, James Brown, please. And it's just the shot of, obviously, like, they're in heaven and you got the fog. I enjoy that aesthetic a lot.
Very reminiscent of It's a Wonderful Life, where they have their version of heaven. And also, like, an episode we've already seen before, Cavender's Coming, their kind of
I
version
don't
of
remember
heaven.
seeing that part of A Wonderful Life. That actually shows, like, heaven. I don't know, It's a Wonderful Life.
I guess in It's a Wonderful Life, it's not really like a cloudy heaven. In that one, it's more just the stars are talking and like constellations are talking. As
I do remember that
That's
part.
the gods of heaven in It's a Wonderful Life. I guess not exactly a great parallel, but more akin to Cavender's Coming.
We have the technology to rebuild it.
Doctor, what have you created?
I am, for all intent and purposes, AI Serling.
So every week I put a prompt into ChatGPT, come up with a Rod Serling style intro to the episode. This one's a little long, but I think it's pretty dang good.
All right.
Witness, if you will, a man named Jesse Cardiff, a man with a singular obsession. To the casual passerby, he is merely a figure hunched over a pool table in the dim glow of a deserted hall. But to Jesse, this is no ordinary game. This is his life. Every shot, every bank, every careful stroke of the cue brings him closer to the one thing he desires above all else, the title of the greatest pool player who ever lived. But greatness, like all things, has its price. And on this particular night, in a forgotten corner of a silent pool hall, Jesse Cardiff is about to make a wager that stretches beyond the boundaries of the living, a challenge to a legend, a ghost, a shadow from the past. And in doing so, Mr. Cardiff will soon learn that some victories are more costly than others here in the Twilight Zone.
Jesse's stroking his cue.
All right, so every week Tyler and I come up with a few questions for each other, keep each other on our toes while watching said episode. This week, like usual, I came up with 3.
I have 4 this week.
All right, go first then.
All right. In the opening shot, what ball does he hit?
5?
It's a 6.
Nah, close. Where was Fat's pool cue made?
Ohio. Toledo, Ohio?
St. Louis.
Oh, okay. Totally off there. Don't know why I was guessing that. What is the name of the race car driver Fats mentions?
Dang. Lightning Peterson.
Tazio Nuvolari.
How old was Jesse when he first played pool?
16.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many years did Fats say he made his living with his pool cue?
35.
Correct.
My final question at the end there, when Jesse is summoned, where is the Mason's Pool Hall located?
That was my last question, Sandusky, Ohio.
Jerry Sandusky, Ohio. All right, pretty good. All right, we'll jump right into the plot of this one. We open up on a pool hall and we meet Jesse. I hasn't mentioned him by name, but this is him. Hey, Jesse. He's playing pool all by himself.
And having an argument with himself because he's insane.
And he says, like, see that? It was perfect. What do I get? Fats Brown, Fats Brown. Obviously giving us a bunch of dialogue that we need to understand what is going on. But
did this give you ever seen the video of that guy he's a bowler and he makes he does like a perfect game or something like that, and he like is so excited and like about his victory, he yells out, "Yeah, who do you think you are? I am."
Yep, that's a good one.
This reminds me of that guy so much.
But it's pretty good. He's obviously butthurt that he's like, everyone talks about this Fat Brown, and he's pretty much essentially saying like he can't. There's no way he can actually prove himself to be the best because the legend is dead. And he pretty much says, I would do anything to play him right now. And then we get a cool shot. It shows up to heaven, and it's like, Fats Brown, please report to Randolph Street, which Randolph Street.
Yeah,
Horace Ford.
It is a little call forward.
So obviously, like, it would be the present, so like it's when Randolph Street's dilapidated. So I like to picture when Horace Ford and his wife are out there like arguing, Horace, please come home. He just in there, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to play pool in here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so I was thinking too when I was watching this, Rod didn't write this, right?
No.
And was Horace Ford written by Rod?
I don't believe so.
So is it just coincidence? Because I was thinking like, oh, maybe like Rod grew up on a street called Randolph Street, because he usually throws in
like Bimington.
Bimington and other like locations from his childhood. So I was like, oh, maybe he grew up on a Randolph Street, and that's why it keeps getting popped up in here.
I'll have to look into who wrote Horace Ford, but it is kind of random. I have two Randolph Streets, but I like to think that it's canon and that they're on the same street.
Yeah,
for sure. So he says, I'd do anything to play Fats right now, and Fats appears. Wouldn't you know it?
It's a cool appearance where it's like
dimly lit,
and then like it's this upward lighting, like it kind of looks like the light is like beneath him shining up onto his face,
like you're telling a scary story type
thing. Very cool with the lighting there. It almost makes it seem as if he magically appeared there, even though there wasn't like a kind of cut to him being there.
It was definitely a cool effect. And at this, it shows Jack Klugman, Jesse's face here. He's kind of in shock, and Rod brings us in.
Jesse Cardiff, pool shark, the best on Randolph Street, who will soon learn that trying to be the best at anything carries its own special risks, in or out of the Twilight Zone.
Very quick Rod intro.
Yeah, very quick one. I do notice too a lot of jazz in this, and the jazz in this is it made me think of the Little Rascals.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what about it, but it had a very Little Rascals feel.
So when we come back from commercial, Fats is there, and he's like, you called? And obviously, Klugman is just like, I'm going to keep referring to Jesse. He keeps going, but you're dead. And I did like this one a lot. And he's like, not really, as long as people talk about you. And then he also had another cool one. He's like, but that's impossible. And Fats is just like, there's nothing's impossible. Things are just more unlikely than others to happen.
Yeah, I kind of like that line too.
Cool.
I definitely like the line about like, as long as people keep talking about you, you get remembered, which is definitely true of like any, I guess like for lack of a better word, heroes like him or pros, the people at their best in the games. Like they'll always be remembered for long time until, like he says, someone new comes around to knock them off the top there.
Right. That whole thing, I guess we can get into it a little bit now. Obviously, like you just said, there's always going to be the best of things, but I find that a lot, like as a musician, like when someone's like, who's the best drummer? I always go to like the Rev, and like people who are dead, like someone who you can't ever challenge it.
Yeah.
Which even though I know there's technically better people like that and stuff, but to me, like, it just represents, and I don't know if it's just because they are dead that it also gives that, like...
I think it is because people that die at the top too, I think is definitely a part of it, because you never see that downward trajectory of them in their lives. So like people like great musicians or anyone like that kind of dies at the top, one, you can't challenge them because they're dead, and two, they died being the best. They didn't like have that like slow retirement of like, oh, they're not great at this thing anymore. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then Fats is pretty much like, I know you're in shock, but you're the one who called me. And he's like, and you know, deep down, you're second rate. And Jesse's just like, that's not fair. You've never seen me play. Listen, fat boy, you're a balloon that needs to be popped, and I'm the needle. I did kind of like that little metaphor.
Yeah.
And then Fats is like, all right, well, then you'll play me. And he's like, let's make it interesting. Let's make some stakes. Jesse tries to offer him money, and obviously Fats is like, this is no good to me. He's like, how about we make it interesting? Let's play for life and death. I'll play a little bit of that because I enjoyed this whole little segment.
You said you'd give anything for a game with me. Anything?
Just what kind of stakes are you talking about?
Life or death. You beat me, and you live. You lose, and you die.
Seemed oddly sexual when he said when he was saying that.
You said
like,
you'd do anything.
What do you want? You said you want to be famous. And there's a line that he says earlier too that was also made me think of that. He's like, "Give me something to make the long journey here worthwhile." And then I can just imagine him being like, "Get on your knees, Jesse."
Unzipping his pants. Jesse scoffs it off, and then Fats is just like, I guess you don't want it bad enough. He's like, I'm going back then. And Jesse's like, you're wrong. You know how many nights I've spent here? I slept on this fucking pool table. I came up with an agreement with the owner that I could spend the nights here so I could just keep getting better. I'm fucking good. I'm telling you, mister, I'm good.
And then Fats makes the good point of being like, well, so far all you've done is just talk about how good you are. I haven't seen it. So, like, put your money where your mouth is, or I guess rather put your life where your mouth is. And if you're as good as you say, you should have no problem trying to defeat me. But the bet doesn't make any sense for Jesse. He gets nothing out of it. Fats,
if he wins, he gets to be the best. I don't know how they would figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. How are you going to prove that you're the best? Like, that's all he really gets. But the risks are way higher. You will die.
Well, everyone dies, Tyler.
Yes, but no, only some people live.
Right. Jesse accepts the terms. He racks up, and
he starts racking up before they even say what game they're going to play. Do you notice that?
Right. Fats shows Jesse his pool cue. $600. You name the game. And Jesse lands on, all right, let's play 14-1. First to 300 points.
So $600 for a pool cue, I feel like even in today's money, that's an insane amount of money for a wooden stick.
Yeah, because that would probably be like, what, like $6,000 back then?
Yeah, I wouldn't even spend $60 for a pool cue.
I bet you'd have to spend at least $50-$60. I bet
it's just a wooden stick.
I bet, yeah, but it's got to be like properly weighted and all that. I bet it's probably like $100 for a pool cue.
I can't imagine it being more than a baseball bat.
Do you know how much a baseball bat is?
$100 maybe.
Well, if you're getting an aluminum one, probably, yeah.
I don't know. I just think that's ridiculous. $600.
He's also a pro. He's gonna have the top of the line shit, but I get it. So they're gonna play 14-1, first to 300 points, and they say, all right, let's flip on it. Fats calls tails, but it's heads, so Fats has to break. And then Fats has this, you'd think that breaking gives me a disadvantage, but then Fats breaks and he only moves one ball, which I don't really know pool well enough. I feel like that's a dick move and probably an illegal move. Or is it legal?
Because it's legal because he said it's the perfect like maneuver because two of the balls left, touched the walls, and then came back. So I think as long as you move two of the balls to have the balls touch the sides, you've technically broken it.
And then they came back.
And then they came back to the area. So he broke it in such a way where it clearly follows the rules without really being much of a useful break.
Right. And then Jesse does the same thing as well. And then it's Fat's turn, and he's like, if I make it, I could run the table. And he's like, and then Jesse's quick, and he's like, yeah, but if you miss, you leave me wide open. Fats misses. Jesse gets 2 in a row after that. And he's like, how about that, fat boy? And Fats,
fat boy.
It was okay. he's like, you're just like all the others. And I'll play a little bit of this because
He's so whiny in this.
You know, you're like all the others. When I was a kid, I knew a lot of guys like you. Guys who were good at things like music and arithmetic and basketball. Guys who would do anything to make me feel about that big.
But you fooled him, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. That's right. I did.
all those cool guys at arithmetic.
I like, speaking of cool guys, Fat's looking pretty cool with his little visor thing there, and then
the little chain.
And then he's got some sort of band around his arm. Don't know what's going on there.
Fat, as much as, like, obviously, like, back in the day, they were like, oh, it's a fat guy. Like, he actually looks pretty dapper.
Right, like, he's not, like, morbidly obese by any means.
Fats tells Jesse now that pool is a game of geometry, and he's like, in its hardest form. Fats gets one, and then Jesse runs through quite a few balls. We start getting some cans at angles. Jesse
montage.
And Jesse finally misses. Fats runs the table a little bit. Then Jesse takes the lead, and it's 59-7.
And then also during the montage, did you notice the little chalk dispenser thing? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they put it on their like hand and then the stick. I don't know. And then the scoring thing up above was pretty cool. I don't know I don't know pool enough. I always play like stripes and solids, and 8-ball has to be last.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know much about this to watch it and be like, oh, what the hell's going on? It's more or less they have to like kind of explain what's going on for most viewers, I would imagine.
At this point in the montage, Fats is running a lot of balls, and Jesse's getting nervous. We just keep getting a lot of back and forth, re-rack after re-rack. And now we're getting towards the end of the game. It is now 299-296. Jesse goes for the shot and misses. And Fats makes 3, but then misses the final ball, the fourth and final one he needed. And then he's like, there's more to life than being in this pool hall. I'll play a little bit of that.
I may not look like it, but I actually used to make love.
Can you picture me, a fat fuck, banging?
Walking on a beach?
Banging?
There's more to life than this pool hall. It isn't right you're being all cooped up in here like this. You ought to get out a little, see what's going on.
You didn't get to be the best sitting on a park bench. Spent a lot of time with that cue in your hands.
Of course I did. But I took time out to live, too. I've been places where they never heard of billiards.
15-ball in a corner pocket.
I may not look the part, Jesse, but I made love, walked uphill, swam in the ocean.
You might not be able to tell from looks, but I have actually walked up a hill one time.
Yeah, so Jesse, obviously, like he said, he's like, you're trying to distract me, and then Jesse misses, and he's like, you made me do that.
Well, no, so that comes later. This is him just talking, he's saying it's going to distract him. Later on, he actually drops his pool cue on purpose right at the moment that he knows Jesse's going to strike, which is a super dick move.
Right. And then it's Fat's turn, but he misses as well, but he also sets Jesse up perfectly, and Jesse's just like, all my life I've been waiting for this. If I sink it, I'll be the greatest. And then Fat's like, if you do. And then he's like, why are you sweating? And then Fat's like, reasons you don't understand. And he's like, it's taken you an awful long time to make this shot. And then Fats, I do like this. He was like, truly, I really would like to see you win. And he's like, but everything needs a legend. Music, sports, they all need
someone to keep the flame alive.
Yep. And then he's like, I just happen to be the best at pool.
Champion serves as an incentive, someone to strive for, to beat. And then it's at this point that he leans over to him right before Jesse's about to take the final shot, and he whispers, you may win more than you bargained for. Which, he sounds like he's trying to talk him out of it, but at the same time, too, it doesn't make any sense because at no point would Jesse want to intentionally lose, too, because then Jesse's going to fucking die, which is way worse than the consequences that he gets from winning, so...
Right. We'll get a little bit more into that of what would happen if he died. Died in parentheses here. In a little bit later, but it is pretty cool. Jesse does make the shot, and he wins, and he's like, I beat you. I'm the best. And then...
And everyone's going to know I'm the best, except no one can, because I was the only one in this room.
Obviously, there would probably be another supernatural force that would make it so that he's the best.
Yeah.
And I like how Faster's like, thanks. Because obviously, like, the burden's off of him now.
He can go spend the rest of heaven eternity walking up hills and
making
having
love.
sex. And...
He's like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, you'll find out. And then Fats disappears, and then he's like, come
So a
on.
loser.
And pretty much Klugman just looks at the can. You saw it, didn't you? I'm the best. Now I'm the best. No one's ever gonna take it from me. Me, Jesse Cardiff, Jesse Cardiff, Jesse Cardiff. And it slowly transitions to a Jesse Cardiff, please report to Sandusky Pool Hall. Or Sandusky.
Sandusky.
And so now he is the one who is the best, but he has to keep playing anyone who challenges him, which is pretty cool. And Rod takes us out.
Mr. Jesse Cardiff, who became a legend by beating one. But it was found out after his funeral that being the best of anything carries with it a special obligation to keep on proving it. Mr. Fats Brown, on the other hand, having relinquished the champion's mantle, has gone fishing. These are the ground rules in the Twilight Zone.
I like that little chuckle from Rod. These are the ground rules. And that is our episode. Tyler, what did you learn?
I learned there are multiple ways to play pool.
Yes, there is. All right, we'll get right into ratings. IMDb has this currently at a 7.8 out of 10. I'll let you go first because I think I like this better than you.
All right, I'm going to give this one a 6. There's just a lot of talking. There's very little action. It's quite slow and boring. I like the overall kind of message that they were kind of put out there. And like the whole heaven aspect was kind of cool. And there was some cool stuff, but overall it was just too slow and boring.
I'm going to land on a 7.5. I've always enjoyed this episode. It's probably, I'd say, like top mid-tier for me, but it is cool. I like the message a lot. I love the irony of it that he becomes. It's kind of, again, another careful what you wish for story, but And the acting is really good. For just being two people in one room, it's a very good episode, I think.
Who are they? Where are they? What are they? Let's find out together in the Twilight Gnome presents Inside the Twilight Zone.
All right, so this week we have our first episode with Jack Klugman. He's definitely one of the heavy hitters in the Twilight Zone, even though he only did 4. I think he's definitely up there on the Mount Rushmore with Burgess Meredith and John Anderson. And I'd say probably that Barney something, the guy that plays Haley the Martian.
Barney Rubble.
It's Barney Gumble.
Oh, Barney Grumble.
Barney Rubble is fucking Flintstones.
Hey,
man, brother. Anyway, Jack Klugman, he played Jesse. He was in 4 episodes of The Twilight Zone. He was in A Game of Pool, A Passage of Trumpet, Death Ship, and In Praise of Pip. He was also in 114 episodes of The Odd Couple, and he was in 148 episodes of Quincy M.E., which is, when I was going through IMDb, almost every actor on The Twilight Zone was in this. It was a show from,
was it Quincy?
I'm not sure. He's like a coroner, essentially. He like investigates like people who have been murdered or something like that. It was like in the late 70s, I believe.
I've heard of the show,
but it seems pretty cool. And he was in 3 Playhouse 90s. Then we have Jonathan Winters. He played James Fats Brown. He was in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. He did a lot of voiceovers in a bunch of kids' animated cartoons. He was actually the voice of Grandpa Smurf in 63 episodes of The Smurfs.
Isn't it Papa Smurf?
No, he did Grandpa, and then it was Papa Smurf, so then he does the voice of Papa Smurf in the 2010 and 2013 movies, so...
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, Winters, any relation to Alex Winters?
I don't believe so. This was actually the first and pretty much one of the only serious roles. He was known for being a big comedian, and he almost didn't really want to do this, and he's like, I don't really have any experience being serious, but I think he did a very good job being serious.
He did a very good job, and also makes sense that he'd be a comedian if he was in the movie Mad, 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 Mad World. That's one of the classics.
This is Jack Klugman's personal favorite of the 4 episodes that he did. Jackie Gleason was the first choice for Fats, but he had already been in the movie The Hustler, which was a pool movie, and he didn't really want to tread on that same ground again. Which, side note, I've been watching a lot of Honeymooners. Excellent show.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Which I would imagine if you're listening to this, you know of The Honeymooners, but if not, by any chance, I would highly recommend it. You can actually watch the majority of them on YouTube. Very, very good show. Have you watched any?
I haven't. They are also on Pluto TV and one other thing when I was looking up it last night.
This is one of only 4 episodes of The Twilight Zone that only have 2 principal characters. The other ones...
Wait, hold on. Let me guess. One of them is Probe 7?
No.
No?
Nope.
One of them is... What's the Adam and Eve one?
That's Probe 7 over and out.
Okay. Then the other one is...
You're on the right track.
It's one of those
very
ones where it's just a guy and a girl, and it's like it's
but this one
the end
takes
of the world sort of thing.
This one takes place in a like apocalyptic thing. That one's
called 2.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 is one of them. Is the other one The Invaders?
No, that only has 1 person in it.
The first step? No, because at the end of the episode, there's a lot of people there.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
Nervous Man in a $2 Room and The Encounter.
Okay.
The original script actually had Jesse lose. If they had done this, this might be more of like an 8 for me. Maybe I'd give it a little bit of bump, which they remade this episode in the 80s Twilight Zone, and they did the original, how the script was. So in the original script, he had it so that Jesse lost, and he's like in shock, like, I didn't die. And Fats explains to him, you will die. Like all second-rate people do, forgotten. And it's kind of like something like that, which pushes the point home.
Ooh, that's kind of sad. Like most people suck and will never be remembered. That's the lesson you should take from this. Like, ugh.
You don't like that one?
No,
I kind of like that.
This ending is way better. The other one's such a downer.
I kind of like the other ending.
Yeah.
But this is one of the few episodes that a character breaks the fourth wall, which I didn't think he broke it too much when he was like,
really.
You saw it, didn't you? Because there's a couple more that are a lot more obvious.
I just kind of took that as him being more like schizophrenic, kind of like talking to himself and thinking that people are in the room.
Right. All right. In total, this episode cost $6,872, which is, I believe, the cheapest one.
I mean, that makes sense. There's 2 actors. Almost all of it takes place in a empty pool hall. And there's just one small little heaven scene. Like, and in the heaven scene, all they really needed was a pool table and some clouds, like smoke effect.
Before this, Night of the Meek was like $10,000, I believe, and that was the cheapest. But this one's $6,000. The director received the usual $1,250, and the cast only received $375. Very impressive.
What'd you say the name was?
What's in the name, Mr. Benedict? Really? It's a mere question of semantics. Just language. A mere stretch of words.
So every week, Tyler and I come up with a few alternative titles to the episode we are watching. And this week, I came up with 3. 3.
I have 5.
All right, go for it.
More Than You Bargained For.
I got Drop Pocket Debacle.
My debacle is The Defending Champion Debacle.
Yeah. It's Good to Be King.
The Billiards Bet.
Beating the Best.
The Legend of Randolph Street.
I have Legends Never Die.
And The Reigning Champ.
All right. I kind of like the Randolph Street one just because I remember. I'm so conflicted with Horace Ford.
It's not good. You shouldn't be conflicted.
It's not good, but I think of it quite frequently.
Is it just like the look on his face or like because that's Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah, it's I don't know, because I often find myself daydreaming about like childhood and stuff like that. But you don't go
in a annoyingly autistic way where you just bug other people about your reminiscence.
I know. But all right, what about switcheroos? I have 4.
I have 3.
All right, you go first then.
Dead Man's Shoes.
Yep, I got that one. One for the Angels.
No, Once Upon a Time.
Changing of the Guard.
The Jeopardy Room.
And He's Alive.
Yeah.
Well, pretty good.
Yeah. You are now about to penetrate the Twilight Zone.
All right, every now and again, if Tyler or I have a porno parody title name, we will do so. And I actually have one this week. It's okay, but you have one too?
I have one, but it's just really cringe.
All right, you go first then.
All right, instead of a game of pool, playing with stool.
Mine is A Game of Pocket Pool.
All right, so couple of cool references for you guys this week. So starting us off, the line that Fat says about, well, as long as people remember you and say your name, you're never forgotten, definitely give the Coco vibes. Anyone that's never seen the Pixar movie Coco, the kind of whole idea of it is that you need to be remembered by your family and have pictures of you put up on the abuela. I'm probably mispronouncing that. You need to be remembered, and people in your family need to say your name.
Remember me.
Yeah, really, really sweet movie. Super
the best
good.
Pixar movie.
Second best Pixar movie. You all should see it. But yeah, so it definitely made me think of that one there. And then billiards legend Fats Brown is actually a reference to another billiards movie, as Alex mentioned, The Hustler, starring Jackie Gleason from 1961, where Jackie Gleason's character was named Minnesota Fats. So that's kind of the little nod there. And then you just got your general sports movies focusing around some sort of angelic intervention. You got movies like the 1994's and 1951's Angels in the Outfield. And then you got 1989's Field of Dreams. And then from 1996, Happy Gilmore with Chubbs.
And 1993, The Sandlot. Legends never die, kid. When Babe Ruth comes to Benny.
Yep, true. And those are the references.
All right, so every week Tyler picks the episodes, and he does so by showing me an AI-generated picture. I play a little game where I have to guess what it is, but next week is our 50th, and there are only a few episodes. Usually I'm completely in the dark, but for the big ones, every 25, I am in on which ones we're going to be doing because we have to do a little bit more extensive research on the episodes. Like I said, so obviously I knew what the first one was going to be. I know what the last episode's going to be, and I know what all, like every special, like 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, and 150 are going to be. So, Tyler, will you do us the honors and tell us what our very special 50th episode is going to be?
Yes, so for our special 50th episode, we will be doing Living Doll.
Yes, so next week, one of the very big 6 or 8 or so, to pick the big special ones, we looked up on, or Tyler did, he looked up on IMDb the 8, like, biggest.
Yes, the top 8 most highly rated on IMDb. The reason it's 8 and not 6 is because I figured I would do this before I had already chosen to serve man, so we kind of already blew our load on that one.
Got one of the big 8.
Exactly. And then one of the big 8 is one of my favorites, Will a Real Martian Please Stand Up, which I'm saving for a different special event. But other than that, the top 8 include our top 6 here for every 25.
Yes, we already did It's a Good Life 25 weeks ago. That seems crazy. Seems like just yesterday.
Yeah, it does not seem that long ago.
But yes, next week. And on top of that, every 25 episodes, we also do a second special episode. For the 25th, we just did a top 10. We're just kind of putting our toes in the water, but they're going to start getting more and more extravagant as the years go on. And this week coming with the episode 50, we are doing a whole special episode on the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. It's going to be pretty cool. I think this is going to be one of our best videos that we've ever made too. I'm going to have some video components to it, and I think if you guys, even if you don't even like the ride, just hearing the history of it, I think you guys will be impressed.
And so many different references that the Imagineers were able to kind of stuff into the ride, which is so cool. So,
all right, just a little bit of housekeeping, guys. If you could please like and subscribe on the YouTube page, it would mean a lot to us. Our new goal is to get 100, because I believe at 100 you get like your own URL for YouTube, like youtube.com/Twilight Gnome. That would be pretty cool, and just to be in the triple digits. And we're pretty dang close, 24 more subscribers, and we got it. So if you could tell your friends and share this, that would mean the world to us. Also, if you're listening on Spotify, if you could give us a review, preferably 5-star, because we're a 5-star
We're a 5-star show.
And if you need to get a hold of us for any other reason, you can email us twilightgnome59@gmail.com. But until then, Tyler, I will leave you with my final question. What do you believe you're the best at? Is there anything that you could honestly be like, I fucking rule at this?
If I had to compete on like what I like, it's life or death, and it'd either be Harry Potter trivia Or Disney Parks trivia. It'd be some sort of trivia focused around what I know a shit ton about. So one of those two.
Pretty decent. I love music, but there's no fucking way I'm the greatest at any fucking instrument. Especially if you put life and death there, that'd be fucking insane to attempt that.
Just the idea, like, even if you are the best, like, throwing life and death there is going to make you get, like, sweaty palms. You're like, shit, now I'm not as good as I would normally be under normal circumstances.
I'm the greatest at fucking everything up and being very anxious about shit. I could fucking do that pretty well.
If you had to pick something, though, what would you pick?
I can play I'm fucking not even too much. I can play the shit out of the fucking drums, but
picking that over guitar?
If it was something to like prove your chops, I can't. So I'm more of a rhythm player. I can't fucking solo and shred, but I can play the shit out of some drums.
Nice,
but probably that. I'd probably lose, but I would give it. Would be one hell of a good drum solo. Yeah. All right, Ty. Until then, do you have anything to say to our dear Nomies out there?
Yes, looking forward to you all visiting us for our special 50th episode and our other special 50th episode. Hope to see you all there. Can't wait. And thank you all for stepping into the Twilight Gnome with us.
It's 4 o'clock, the howling man is gone. Frisbee's telling stories